All right. Let's start with case. So yeah. So what is case, right? So case is basically it's again a simple mechanism uh, to make a choice, right? So based on a certain condition, right? Make a choice based on the certain condition. So now, if you were to use an if then else statement, then you have to keep going till the end of it to basically the whole set of if then else statement, right? But in this case, case is something which allows you to save time. The moment that thing hits, it'll kind of go ahead and it'll wait for the input, and then it'll go ahead and break the case statement. So I'll give an example here. You can see my screen. Okay, so while you're starting a while and you're doing a do while do loop, right? And then you're reading an input string from the end user, and then you're passing that input string into the case block. So this is the case block, right? So usually if you see way it works is if will be phi, right? Fi. So like this case, you just flip case and end it with that. So within this block, what you're doing is you're just evaluating, right? If the input string is say hello, then you are echoing hello yourself, and then you're continuing, right? So it's what does this double semicolon means is you're continuing the, so it return the execution back to read. It will come to ESAC and then it will go back to read because it does not done will have to break the loop, right? It is not doing it. So it will wait for it and it will go back here. Again, it will read. Right? And again, you can enter anything, right? Sorry, I don't understand. You can understand anything, right? You can understand anything. What asterisk means, it's anything other than these. It's actually giving, sorry, I don't understand. But when you enter by, it says echo see you again, and then after that it's adding a new, we are adding a line called break. Okay, what break does is it breaks the do while loop. Okay, it breaks out and then it comes out and then it says it executes echo. That's all, folks. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, let's try this out and see how it works. Conjunction of, I'm going to connect to my Linux instance. Okay, so we have, yeah, so I'll say vi this is case, right? Case 1.sh. That's the name of the file that I'm going to give. I'll go into an input mode. I'll put shebang /bin/sh. Okay, so then let's put echo. Let's chat here. Okay, and then let's get into a while loop. So while has to have this while do. Okay, read input string. So that is the input string that you're reading from the end user. Okay, so then you're entering into the case dollar input string. Okay, in that is this is the syntax of it. Okay, so then what it does is it then you can give your options here. What all options you're expecting. Okay, it's like, let's use the same. Let's say hello. You have to close it with a parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Okay. Okay, you're saying hello world, and then you're doing a double colon, semicolon, right? So then you're saying WhatsApp
Sir, break statement.
Give me more. Give me more. Yeah, I'll come to that. Break. See, break is not needed here. See, break is needed only when you want this. I'll explain that. Just give me a second. Okay. Close it. Then say something else. Go. I'll say bye. I'll say echo. Okay, now I'll give a break. I'll give a break and then I'll just give a double colon. And then I will say ESAC. Do is and then with done, correct? Yeah. Then echo. Okay, so now this is a simple program which is using a text. Okay, so now what I'm writing is I've written, let's chat here. These are all echo statements. And then I'm getting into a while loop. What a while loop does is it basically waits, right? It keeps going through. Then you're doing a read input string and then case, and you're evaluating the value of this input string here. Okay, in this case and ESAC block. So then you're evaluating it line, every option that the end user inputs, you're evaluating that. If it is hello, you're just doing hello world. And need to add one more star. Star is anything, right? Echo. Okay. So if you type hello, it'll type hello. It'll evaluate this block of code. Again, it'll go back because you're not breaking out of it, right? Until you break out, it'll keep going back to this. It'll keep going back to this. Okay. So then, if you type say something else, it would say, what should I say? I mean, whatever you give here, it can be any logic here, right? I mean, it's just a string that you're evaluating, but it could be at the end of the day, it could be a value that you're looking at. Until that value comes, you're iterating through this whole thing, right? And then you're indefinitely waiting for the right value to come so that you can break this case statement and come out of the loop. Okay. So finally, when you say bye is where I'm actually doing a break. So then when I hit bye, it will say goodbye and then break. I can as well have bye and say something else also. Okay. If you want that to be the exit criteria, right? So this is basically the exit criteria. Bye is the exit criteria for me, but it can be anything. Okay. Or if it is anything other than these four values, hello, give me more, say something else, bye, star. Star is anything other than that. Asterisk is anything other than this. It'll simply say awesome and it'll continue to execute it. Okay. Sorry. Let's execute it. Okay, just execute it. Line 12. Okay, maybe it will not accept the cases, I believe. 12. Yeah, it doesn't accept. I'll keep it all lowercase. What's up?
Sir, can you give me done option also? Do done.
It is given below. Do done is there. Tell me. By. Yeah, let's chat here. Okay. Okay. Let me just bring it to the top. Let's chat here. So hello is giving hello world. Doing WhatsApp. Here you go with more, right? And then I'm saying something else. How are you? How are you belongs to star, correct? It goes to asterisk because I'm not evaluating for how are you. I'm evaluating for hello. I'm evaluating for WhatsApp. So you're getting it, but I'm not evaluating for the string how are you or the value how are you, right? So it's going to give me awesome. Something else will also give me awesome. Anything, any random thing will give me awesome. Anything will give me awesome. It can be a number, it will give me awesome. It can be a text, it will give me awesome. It can be a alphanumeric, it will just give me awesome until I hit buy. The moment I hit buy, it says goodbye, thanks for talking to me, and then it breaks out of the loop. Okay, so it's pretty simple, straightforward. Nothing much to break your heads with. It's very simple. You're creating a while do loop, and within that you're using a case statement. Case is actually a common thing which is there in any programming language. Okay, C++ has got, the Java has got, C# has got. Okay, so you're evaluating the value of what the user entered. These are all the evaluations. Okay, if it matches any of these, okay, if it matches any of these, it'll just go ahead and execute that block of code. Okay, so it's not going to evaluate all these lines of code. Like for example, we have how many lines of code here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 lines of code are there, correct? But it won't evaluate all 16 lines of code when it is executing. Okay, it will evaluate only that 3 lines of code which matches the input string. What are those 3 lines of code? Those 3 lines of code are this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That is the advantage of case. Okay, you don't have to evaluate everything, and then it based on the value of the input string, it just picks up one block of the code and then it executes that. Okay, so yeah, so that's on the case. Let's move on. So that's the example that you just saw. Okay, read through this. Next, let's move on to variables. So we saw a variable, right? I mean, what is a variable in this case? Okay, this is basically a variable, right? Input string is a variable. Similarly, on the other examples, we saw a few more variables, right? For loop had some variables. Cat for loop. Okay. Yeah. So we saw general variables that we create in the program shell. Then we use that within the context of the context of that shell script, correct? There are also special set of variables which are set for you already, most of which cannot have values assigned to them. These can contain useful information which can be used by the script to know about the environment in which it is running. Let us see what those variables are. Okay, the first set of variables we will look at are $0 to $9 and $hash. Okay, if you see, the variable $0 is the base name of the program as it was called. $1 or the additional 9 parameters the script was called with. Okay, let's see what those are. Okay, the variable $@ is all parameters. $1 whatever. The variable $* is similar but does not preserve any white space and quoting. So file with spaces become file with spaces. This is similar to echo stuff we looked at the first time, right? Echo, when you just type echo on the shell, echo hello world, it's just typing hello world, right? If you add more spaces to this, see, it is stripping all these spaces, correct? And it is keeping only like one space there, right? It's stripping away all the spaces. Hello world, awesome. See, it's stripping away all the spaces, okay, and it's just keeping.
Sir, if you really want a space in between,
space. Yeah, so if you want to preserve the space as is, what will you do? Just put it within double quotes. Just put it within double quotes. Okay, I think this. That exclamatory is a problem. So you have to escape it actually, because that's a shell thing, right? See, it is preserving all the spaces. Okay, you enclose it within a double quotes. It will consider this whole thing as a literal string. So that one also, exclamatory also, let's put exclamatory. What do you need to do?
Slash.
Yeah, you have to put a slash.
So if you need only some part of the sentence to be spaced.
Sorry?
Only some part of the sentence, like if and this this quotations beside word, rest all will be printed
Yeah.
same as it. Okay.
Okay, so you can't do it on one single line. So what if I understand your question correctly, you want only some parts to be preserved and rest of it you want to strip the spaces, correct?
Yeah, so that one.
We can try that. We'll try that. It's a good experiment to play. I'm just doing wherever here, hello, multiple spaces. I'll say hello world. I'll close the space and then I'll say spaces will be stripped off. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, you're right. So basically you'll be able to preserve the spaces here, but here wherever it is not within the double quotes, the spaces will be stripped off.
Thank you,
This is
sir.
the same line. Yeah, that's also possible. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, this is similar to the echo stuff we looked at. Okay, I'll come to that. So, okay, let's look at this. So you can actually pass parameters to your shell script. Okay. Now, what are parameters, right? So we saw this the other day when you have a command, right? When you have a command, what does the Linux command comprise of? If you go back to the PPT.
Command name, options, arguments.
Excellent. Perfect. Let me just pull that slide up for all of you to refresh your memory. Yeah. Yeah. Command name, options, and arguments, correct? So now these arguments that you see, right? Those are the ones that you can actually so those are the ones that you can specify and you can process it. See, you're passing this arguments through a command, correct? Or through the command line on the shell, right? So now it will be passed to the program, but within the program, you will have the ability to use it and use it for processing the business logic that you're actually trying to write within the shell. Okay, so now let's see how to pass that. Okay, so now if you see, okay, let's start actually a program. Let's start writing a program. Vi arguments 1.sh. That's the name of the shell script. Okay, so let's just take this. Okay, so now first line says echo I was called with $hash parameters. Okay, what does $hash means is like, for example, if you pass, okay, let's first execute it, no? Then we'll see what it does. Okay, so here you have got a $hash, you've got a $0, you've got a $1, $2, and $@. Okay, so $hashes, it will count the number of parameters that are there. Okay, and $0, it will basically give the name of the environment. Okay, then the first parameter where you are entering something, right? I mean, as part of the program, you're entering something. That is the first parameter. Then $2 is second parameter. You can go up to 9. So then you have $@, which is all the parameters. It lists all the parameters. Let us see what happens. chmod arguments. Okay. /arguments. Okay, I'll give first arg, second arg. Okay, I'm just passing 2 arguments to this, right? The first argument is just a first arg, just a plain text that I'm sending, and the second argument is second arg. Let's enter this. Okay, so now I was called with 2 parameters. Okay, so there are 2 parameters here, right? You're passing 2 arguments, 2 parameters. So perfect. I was called with 2 parameters. My name is whatever program that you're running, whatever context that is running, it is throwing that. My first parameter is first arg. My second parameter is second arg. All parameters are first arg, second arg. Okay, so basically, if you see, $hash will give you the count of arguments that you have passed to the program. Okay, through which you can basically say that, say for example, you've built a shell script which is accepting, say, mandatory 3 arguments. Okay, so now if some user only enters 2 arguments and try to execute the program, you can first count the number of arguments that are entered. Okay, if the dollar hash is not equal to 2, not equal to 3, then what you can say is you can simply exit the program with the error saying that, my dear friend, you're supposed to enter 3 arguments to the program. You have only entered 2. Okay, you don't have to do the execution at all. You can simply exit the program by throwing an error. Okay, you'll see that in many examples. Okay, you'll see that in come across in when you enter normal Linux commands, right? Not every command can just run plainly. Like ls and all can run without any arguments. Also, so many commands run without arguments, but there are some commands which require arguments to be passed. Without that, it won't run. It'll actually fail. Okay, so that way you can use this, and then $0 is the name of the program that is running, or the name of the shell script that is running, and $1 is the first argument, $2 is the second argument, $@ is all the arguments will be printed. All parameters are first arg, second arg. Okay, let's do some more research with this. Yeah, so okay, so what if you don't pass anything, right? I mean, that's what they are trying to show next. I don't pass anything to this. I'll run the same. I was called with 0 parameters, arguments. My first parameter is this, second parameter is this. All parameters are empty. It just throws an empty. And similarly here, he's just trying to pass hello world earth. Okay. So it has 3 parameters. First parameter is hello, second parameter is world. He's not printing the third parameter, which doesn't mean that it will ignore the third parameter. It will take the third parameter, but it will not, you're not printing it, you're not processing it in the program. All parameters are hello world earth. Okay. Okay, so now okay, so when you say $0, okay, let's just print this. No, my name is. So the the external utility based name can help tidy this up, right? Okay, so now what $0 gives us? $0 gives you that the name of the shell script that is running. Okay, and what you can do is there's an external utility called base name. We'll come back to that later, but with which you'll be able to tidy that up so that when you execute the program, I'll execute the previous program. Okay, so this can be, you can make it look more neat, because that is see, you'll not always run the shell scripts from that particular folder also, right? Because you might as well put this in a path and then you can run it from anywhere, right? So when you run it from, say, a complex subdirectory structure, it can actually try to print that entire thing. So you can tidy that up, where you can strip off the base name and then keep only the name of the shell script or the program there. Okay, we can take more than, by default, $1 to $9 are automatically set by the shell. Okay, $hash, $1, $9, and $@, right? So these are the variables which are by default set, right? You won't be able to change it. You can use it, make use of it. Okay, but if you want more than 9 parameters, you can use the shift command like as below. Okay, so what you're doing is, while $hash is greater than 0, I mean it expects at least something some value to be given. So then what you're doing is it'll keep running this until the dollar hash is down to 0, at which point the list is empty. Let's just run it. Okay, so args2 is I'm passing all empty, correct? So it will not even execute, right? It will try this while, it will go to the while loop, and my argument length is, my argument count is basically, it is not greater than 0, right? So just say arg1. Yeah, see, $1 is arg1, arg2. Similarly, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, see, you're able to pass more than that. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so you can keep you can pass more number of arguments to this using the shift. Okay, so now we will create more programs which accepts arguments and processing the arguments and things like that. Okay, now let's go to written code. Okay, so now a lot of programs that you write or that are already there will actually have a written code. Okay, and those written codes are nothing but, I mean, if you want to say that there's something which has gone wrong for whatever reason, right? It could be an extraneous factor, or it could be some value did not evaluate properly, right? Things like that. You can always say that the the shell script did not complete the full execution and it gave an error. Okay, so now that special variable is called $? Okay, this actually contains the exit value of your script. Okay, so now usually if you see a successful execution would return an code of 0. Okay, when you get the code of 0, right, then it means that it has a successful return. But if it returns anything other than 0, so then there is a problem here. So now in this case, what we are trying to do is you're executing some command. Okay, /user local bin my command if $? So what does this $? mean is whatever is the last command that was executed in that shell. Remember that very clearly. Whatever the last command that was executed in that shell, $? Takes that, stores that value in its memory. Okay, so now we executed something here, right? Let's see whether $? Oh. Echo $? It's actually having a 0, correct? Which means that it executed properly. Now let's try executing something that we goofed up some time back. No, it was actually giving a okay, this one, right? Yeah. Okay, so now what will be the $? Okay, this is 0 because see the command executed properly, but inside that there was it's basically a common validation issue, right? But the command itself is proper. Okay, let's execute some command. Okay, instead of echo, I'm saying echo 1. Okay, command was not found. Okay, so I will say echo dollar question mark. See, it has written 127 instead of 0 because this echo 1 command itself is not found. Okay, and there are like it's just I'm just doing this. Let's see what it returns for this. Okay, 127 is the code. You can search for those codes. Okay, shell Linux shell return codes. Yeah. Okay, so if you see here, one is like catch-all for general errors. Wherever it is not specific, right? It's basically a catch-all. 2 is misuse of shell built-ins according to the bash documentation. Whenever you have misused the built-in shell commands, it will throw 2 as the error. 126 command invoked cannot execute for whatever reasons. Okay, it could be whatever reason. Maybe let's try this. Let's change the let's change the execution permission. Okay, then it won't be a command at all. Okay, for whatever reason, right? I mean, the file is corrupted. Let's assume it's a corrupted file and you're not able to execute it. Then you will get 126. 127. We saw 127 now because command itself is not found. Okay, JGJ is not found in the this thing. 128 is invalid argument to exit. 128 plus n is fatal error. 130 is script terminated by Control C. You can actually try that. Script terminated by Control C. While loop was there, no? Somewhere we gave Control C, right? Cat while to. Yeah, while to, correct. Okay, I'll execute while to. Okay, while to. Now the script is running, right? Now I have to basically write something, but after if I have to exit this, then I need to press Control C, correct? I'll press Control C. Now I have forcefully terminated it. So now let's look at the status code of the last execution. See 130. Script is terminated by Control C. Okay, but it only stores the last one. Okay, so you have to see, you have to immediately after you execute a command, you have to immediately evaluate $question mark to see what has happened to the execution there. So that's what this $question mark does here. You've started a shell script, shebang, you're executing this command, immediately you're getting $question mark based on the execution status of this, and you are evaluating that, saying if it is not equal to 0, only 0 is successful. 0 is the only successful. If you get anything other than 0, it means there are problems with that. Okay, see, anything other than a 0 is undesirable. That's what it says. Anything other than 0 is undesirable. So you are basically evaluating anything other than 0, and then you're just saying echo, sorry, we had a problem there. In fact, we can try this because that command doesn't exist, right? Vi return code 1.shell. I'm saying return code. Yeah, see, it gave that my command doesn't exist. Okay, some random thing it is. Okay, I gave the error also that no such file or directory, and then it also printed, sorry, we had a problem there because that because it entered into this and then it executed. Whereas let's change that a little bit. Vi return code. Okay, so now let me just make this instead of /user local bin. Just copy it. Copy return code. Return code 2. Vi return code 2. I'll actually replace this with a proper command. Okay. I'll return this with a proper Linux command of ls-l. Yeah, see, it executes the Linux shell script properly because I'm doing a ls-l within that shell script. Okay, and then it does not go into the if condition because $? Is actually 0, so it never goes into this. Or you can also do it this way. Vi return code, right? Yeah. Return code 2.sh. I'll edit it. So I'll say else. And execution was successful. Yeah. Sorry, echo. Echo command execution was successful. I'll say return code 2. Yeah, see, it said command execution was successful. Okay, so that's how you evaluate the command execution, right? And you can use $? Right? So this will be quite useful because when you, I'll give you simple examples, right? So when you are executing some command line APIs, okay, CLI APIs. Okay, let's take the context of AWS itself, right? So in AWS, you've got when we actually start AWS for next week onwards, you'll get understanding of it. In order to interact with the platform, there are APIs, right? So those who have done Java programs and all, you will know what an API means. It's basically an interface, application programming interface. So those APIs will be exposed, and what you can do is you can actually invoke those APIs within a program like this. Okay, so when you invoke those APIs or when you invoke a shell, when you invoke a CLI, it's called command line interfaces. Like a lot of programs expose, a lot of platforms expose a command line interface, where the main purpose of exposing a command line or building a command line interfaces, you can automate it in a platform like Linux, right? So where you can write a shell script wrapper around it, and then you can evaluate the output of what actually happened when you executed a specific command and how did it work and things like that. Okay, so in that case, you can, when you say AWS S3 LS, right? So that is actually throwing an error because it didn't execute properly and it is throwing an error. So in that case, you can actually take it and you can do a retry. Okay, you can do a retry, and that way, you can make your program a lot more resilient, and you can make your program a lot more fault tolerant. Sometimes the first time the execution must have failed because of whatever reason. It could be that CPU was 100% or memory was not there, or there was some other failure. There was some network connectivity issue that must have been there, right? In such cases, you can retry that. So when you can, because usually the general programming best practices, don't give up in one attempt. Don't just make only one attempt. Retry. The retry is part of any program or any application that you write. Yeah. Hey, Z053, can you please go on mute? Okay. So then there's something called process IDs also, because process ID, uh, uh, dollar and dollar exclamatory. These two are actually process numbers. Okay. The dollar variable is the process identifier of the currently running shell. This can be useful for creating temporary files such as temp myscript.dollar. Yesterday I created some files, right? .tmp. So now you want to create a temp file with the process ID as its extension, so that you'll be able to identify which process used it, and you'll be able to troubleshoot it. Okay, which is useful if many instances of the script could run at the same time, and they all need their own temporary files. Okay, like for example, I've created a script and I'm running that script like say 10 times, right? At concurrently, I'm running it 10 times. So what the shell script will run is 10. If it is run 10 times, then 10 times it will actually create 10 different process IDs behind the scenes. Okay, it won't run under one single process. Okay, each execution is unique. Each execution will have its own memory, and each execution will have its own process associated to it. Okay, and dollar exclamatory is the process ID of the last run background process. We can actually check that. Echo dollar exclamatory. Okay, there's nothing coming here. Okay, let me just. Okay. Dollar. Yeah, echo dollar is 31472. So what is the 31472? It gives you the 31472. That's what is that? That is basically the process ID of this shell. Okay, the current shell that I'm running on, that is the process. If you want, you can do that. ps-ef. I gave you the command last time, right? grep. Yes, such. Yeah, bash. Correct. This is the current bash which is running. So which is 31472. Okay, you can see that this is 31472. This is 31472. It belongs to this. The bash that you're running is the shell is the one that it is running. Okay, see here in this case it is returning empty. That's because um, okay, so it ran the thing, but it is not able to keep track of it. If you run it within the shell script, that shell itself will create a process. Within that, any command that you run will be part of that process, and any memory allocation that happens, it happens with as part of that. Okay, so so this is also quite important. Where I mean, for example, I want to create a temporary file. Let's create a shell script. Process ID dot shell. Okay, and then let's take the shebang. Okay, let's take the shebang, and okay, probably this is not needed. Instead, I will just do something. I'll just do the LSI funnel. Okay, and then I'll do an LSI funnel, and then I'll make use of this $dollar, and then I'll create a file with dollar dot dollar dollar, right? I'll just say touch temp file dot dollar dollar. So what it is going to do is whichever shell script whichever shell process that it is running, it's going to actually replace this dollar dollar with that process ID. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so it ran the ls-l. Now let's just see what it created. See, it created a temp file with 31875 because 31875 was the process ID of that particular shell execution that we did. Okay, I'll just say ps-ef. We'll see if 31875 is seen anywhere. See, 31875 is not seen because it is no longer running. It executed and then it got terminated. You'll not see that 31875. But you want to understand, what is the process which ran that? You can basically use that to easily identify using dollar dollar symbol variable. Okay, so okay, internal field separators. Internal field separator is again another variable. So when you actually pass some text, or when you process some text and things like that, you might want to separate, have some sort of a delimiting mechanism within your fields, in such a way that you want to basically you want to identify that, okay, when colon is given, that is where my first field ends. Then second time when a colon comes, the second field ends. Third time a colon comes, that's where the third field ends, right? So that's what happens here. So if you see, your IFS is colon, which is the internal field separator. Then what you're doing is you're reading XYZ. You're reading three variables called X, Y, Z. Okay, so then what it does is it basically takes X is $X, Y is $Y, and Z is $Z. Okay, let's see an example of it. So in this case, I'm just running it. You're saying hello colon, how are you colon today? So which means that this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. So you're inputting one text, okay, because when you say read XYZ, this is just one single text that you're inputting, but with a delimited field separator, internal field separator, and then it is able to actually print it as X is hello, Y is how are you, and Z is today. If you enter hello, how are you today, my friend, then the output would be X is hello, Y is how are you, Z is today, because what it will see is it will see three. So what you're expecting it to do is you're really expecting it to give three delimited text out here. So it'll search for the first three colons in this, right? And then it'll wait for colon. Okay, it'll look for colon, and then it'll take the first three colons out here, right? So the first three colon is one here. So X is hello. The second colon ends here. So the second variable is how are you. The third colon ends here. Okay. So what it does is, sorry. So basically the first colon ends here. So anything till that point is the first variable. Second colon ends here. So anything till that point from the first to second is this. Anything after the second colon belongs to the third variable. So that's why if you see Z is today, my friend, it considered everything else. It actually ignored these colons because you're not asking it to consider it, because had you given X, Y, Z, A, B, it could have actually considered my friend as A and B. Okay, but you're not doing that, right? You're only asking it to give, only three variables out here. So it's only taking three variables out here. Okay, so that's how you work with internal field separators, and it can be anything, right? It can be a colon, it can be a semicolon, and things like that. I mean, you will use it, when you want to say pass some arguments to your program, and that argument you are getting it from a API. Okay, you got the results of an API. You got it in some JSON format, and within that JSON format, there is a string which is having a colon separated values in it. You want to take that colon separated values and pass it as an argument to another program. You can use the internal field separator out there. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Variables part 3. Okay. Okay, so okay, so now when you have curly brackets around, say, variables, right? You have seen that in some cases you directly go ahead and use just dollar variable name. In some cases, you embrace it within a curly bracket, right? So now, what is the difference between embracing it within a curly bracket and doing it without in a naked format, right? So what is the difference between these two? Okay, so now we can deal with issues of variables being undefined or null. In the shell, there is not much difference between undefined and null. Okay, so what is the difference between undefined and null? It's common in any programming language, right? Null is, the value is null. There's nothing there. No memory is allocated to that. And the value is actually null. There's no value there. But whereas undefined is, the variable itself is undefined. Okay, that is the difference. Okay, where the variable itself is undefined and you're not able to reference that variable at all. Okay, and then you're not able to use that variable at all. Okay, that is the difference between undefined and being null. Okay, so now in this case, let us take this. Vi variables to dot shell shebang and give yeah, let's give foo equal to shun and echo dollar foo shine, echo dollar foo shine. Okay, because here you're defining foo as sun, and then you're basically appending to shine, you're appending sun to the shine so that it becomes sunshine, correct? Oh, sorry, where did I create it? It got created in my this thing. Okay, say vi variables to dot sh paste it 17 variables to dot sh dot slash variables to dot sh say sunshine. Okay, that's because okay, foo is the sun. Okay, so in this case, it gave it as empty because the dollar foo shine is like actually undefined because you can't use this dollar. So when you use dollar, it will consider this whole thing as a variable, right? If had you given a space between these two, then it would have taken foo there. But you're not giving any space between foo and shine, so it's taking that whole foo shine as a variable and it's getting undefined. Okay, whereas if you put it within curly brackets, curly braces, it means that this is a variable, and then it basically appends that before the text. Shine is the text, and you're basically appending sun before sunshine. Okay, that's why you use dollar curly brackets so that you're able to make some sense out of it. Okay, let's look at this. Consider the following code snippet which prompts the user for input but accepts defaults. Okay, echo, what's your name? Who am I? Okay, read, then you're reading my name. If minus z my name, then my name equal to who am I? Echo, your name is my name. Let's execute this. So there are defaults that you can take. Okay, for example, if you want to have a default, okay, in this case, who am I? Okay, who am I is a Linux command. Okay, by the way, who am I is, it will tell you what is the username that you are currently. What's your username? Who am I? I am Prasanna. I am easy2 user. Okay, so let's take this and say vi default dot default variables dot sh. What is your name? Okay, now let's see. It's echoing this, right? What is your name? This who am I is basically it is executing the. So when you put it as part of this, what is that called? Inverted. Sorry, I forgot the name of this special character. It's called some inverted
Backtick.
something, right? Backtick. Sorry, backtick. Yeah. So yeah, if you put it within the backtick, if you embrace it within the backtick, it's just going to execute this and replace this with the who am I command out here, right? So what is your name? It's giving me, it's the default EC2 user, right? And then you're reading my name. I'll just give person now. Okay, so then it says, my name, it is basically setting my name as who am I. If there is a value that is given to my name, okay. If there is no value given to it, let's execute it again. There is no value that is given, it will just take the default. It won't change anything. It will just take the default, this thing, default value of my name. Okay, so now if you see, what we are doing here is, if minus z my name, then which is empty. Okay, my name is empty. If my name is empty, then you are basically keeping my name as who am I itself. You're not changing the default value. Here also you kept who am I. Here also you're keeping it who am I. You're not changing the default value. But if my name is not empty, if you're typing something, you're inputting something in the console, then it won't execute this. It will come out and it will say that my name is Prasanna. That's what it's doing. See, it's giving my name is Prasanna. So you will come across this in several places. Okay. I mean, when you configure certain, I'll show you another example. I'm not sure if that is available here or not. AWS configure. AWS is again another. It's a command line interface of AWS. Okay, when you want to set up your CLI command line interface of AWS to interact with AWS using command line using commands, you have to first configure it. So when you say AWS configure, see access key first is there's nothing none here, then none. So these are default values, default region name none, default output format none. Okay, whereas I'll exit, I have it in my Mac, have configured it. I'll just show you AWS configure. See, by default, there's a value which is already set here. So it is able to read that value, bring it. By default, there's an access key which is available. By default, a region name is given, US East 1. By default, output format is JSON. I'll not execute it, which will screw up my. Okay, so now that's the way you use default variable default values. Okay, so in this case, it's a default value, right? So you're using a default value, and then you're going ahead with the default values out here. Okay. Okay, /n. Okay. So read this. Passing the -n to echo tells it not to add a line break for bash and CSH. You use a /c at the particularly at the end of it. Instead, KSH understands both forms. Okay, script runs like this. What is your name? Steve? Use it with input. See, these are some tips that you get, okay, across. So when you want to say, when you pass -n, it tells it not to add a line break in the bash. That's okay. You can try out these. Okay, so now let's move on. Okay, I guess this is the last section, I believe. No, there are a few more. So functions are there, external programs and functions. Let's quickly finish that, and then 10:30. In 15 minutes, let's get into reviewing your programs that you have come up with. Okay, external programs, right? So you can actually run any external program within the script. Okay, I showed you, right? ls-l is an external program. I ran it in the shell script. Okay, there are also few built-in commands like echo, which just are commonly built into the shell, but many useful commands are actually Linux utilities like tr, grep, expression, cut, and things like that, right? Also backtick, famous backtick is back. Backtick is also often associated with external commands. We used backtick here, correct? In the last program we did, we used backtick. We used backtick here to execute who am I, right? Okay, so now the backtick is used to indicate that the enclosed text is to be executed as a command. This is quite simple to understand. First, use an interactive shell to read your full name from /etc/password. Okay, so now let's see what is there. I don't know there. Okay. Let me just run this. Okay, so if you see etc/password is a file actually. Okay, I'll show you what that file looks like. /etc/password. Okay, so the etc/password contains some metadata about your login and things like that. Okay, it'll have what is the root, the bin bash, what does bin means and things like that. It basically has so many things, and SSH, okay, Roni and things like that. Okay, if you see the last one especially, uh, last line here, what it says is easy to user, that is my user, colon x colon 1000 colon EC2 default user colon slash home slash EC2 user bin bash. So this is my home directory. If you go to the root is slash, roots bash is also slash bin bash, right? So similarly for EC2 user also, if you see EC2 users home directory is slash home EC2 user. The EC2 users bash is like also bin bash. But if you see, this will have the name. So in this case, it's just a name. I don't create any special user. I'm just using the standard EC2 AWS EC2 user. That's it. So what it is doing is it's actually trying to extract this text and it's trying to print it. That's what it's trying to do. Okay, let me copy this. I'll come out. I will just show you. I'll just paste it here just for simplicity. Okay, so what it is doing, cut. Okay, how many of you have tried cut? Have you ever tried executing a cut command? So cut is basically a string operation. Okay, it will take a string or a text, and then you can do a lot of operations like cutting the string into pieces and things like that. Cutting out sections from each of the lines and writing the result to a standard output. It can be used to cut parts of a line by byte position, character, and field. Basically, the cut command slices a line and extracts the text. It is necessary to specify option with command, otherwise it gives error. Okay, if more than one file name is provided, then data from each file is not received by its file name. Cat state.txt. If you say cut state.txt, it won't have, but if you want to just say cut -b 123 state.txt. So what it is doing is it's taking the first three characters of each line. -b 123 state.txt. So there's so many options that cut can actually provide. Okay, so now in this case we are just simply making use of the cut program. Okay, so now what you're doing is you're doing a cut -d colon -f5. Okay, so now -d colon means you're saying that delimiter is colon. Okay, the delimiter is colon 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then you're taking the fifth word from after you cut it, you're cutting it by a delimiter as colon, and then you're taking the fifth string from that array. Here in this case, the first one is EC2 user, second one is X, third is 1000, fourth is again 1000, fifth is EC2 default user. Okay, so you're just taking the fifth one, cutting it. So what you're first doing is you're first doing a grep of $user from the etc password file. Okay, and I told you about pipes, correct? What does pipe do? Pipe will combine the execution of multiple commands, correct? And then it will, once it grabs the entire line from, this is the entire line which got grabbed from the etc password file, that is passed on to cut. Okay, so then what cut does is cut does a -d colon -f5, and then it extracts EC2 default user, and then it prints it here. That's what it does. Okay, so now let's do it for F6. What is F6? F6 should return this one. Okay, let's do F6. See, F6 is returning this. F7 will return bin bash, this one. Okay, so now let's get a little naughty here. I will use the delimiter as space, just a space. I'll see what happens. Okay, it's not accepting space as a delimiter. Okay, can we try something else as a delimiter? Can we give slash as a delimiter? Yeah, what is it taking slash as a delimiter? No, it won't take. Just put this as escape. No, it's not taking it. Okay, so just read more about delimiters. How do you use it? I think comma can be a delimiter, colon, semicolon. So these can be delimiters, I believe. Okay, so let's get back. Yeah. Again, you can put that in the into a variable. My name. You can use it with the backtick. Okay, put it within the backtick. Put this entire grep within a variable. That variable will have your name, right? For example, you're running a shell script, automating something, and you want to basically take the current logged in username and then print it somewhere, or use it to print it in your log file. You can just take it and you can use that to put it in your print. And you can actually try that. Wait, let's try that. vi external program, right? External program one dot shell. Put my shabang. I'll put a variable here. So after the variable, what I'm doing is my name will have my EC2 user, correct? So then what I can do is I can actually say that ls-l greater than dollar my name dot txt. So it's going to create a EC2 user dot txt. Okay, and then it's actually going to use it. Okay, before that, let's just give it a second. Okay, what I'm going to do is I will first touch some temp.log. Okay, we'll just create a temp file. So then what I can do is I can say you can just print it for now. Okay, I'll just print it echo dollar my name. Okay, so let's see what it does. Okay, so it's basically printing a EC2 default user out here, right? And it would have also created a temp.log. I'll just remove So okay, and you can basically make use of this my name variable in cases where you want to say you're analyzing some web logs, okay, and as part of the web logs, you want to understand, what all have responded, which all methods have responded 200, okay, because in web, when you build websites, when you build web applications, your HTTP response codes will be written, correct? 200, 300, 402, and 502, and all that. So you want to basically take all those, and then you want to put it in a log file. Okay, but before you create that log file, you want to say that which user created that log file. So you can use this and just do a backtick, get the value, and use that and store it in a variable, and use that variable the way you want. Okay, that's how you use external programs. Yeah, you can also take, for example, here what he is trying to do is find slash. Okay, again find. Okay, it's again a command. Okay, where. Okay, so now let's see. So this has got so many files in it, right? So I want to find all files with that are ending with shell.sh, correct? I will say find dot, okay, hyphen name, which ends with star.sh. See, it finds it's like a find in your Windows, right? Or in Linux, or in Mac, you want to just say find anything, you can just find. Okay, it's like a find. It's a find command. Okay, find what it accepts. It accepts a dot. Dot is the current folder, or it can be a root folder also, or it can be a specific folder also. So when I say root, it will search everything from root. See, it is searching everything from root, and it's listing all the files that are there. There are so many shell scripts that are there in Linux by default. Some are permission denied because I'm not a root user, right? Okay, but that's what it does. So now what we are doing here is here this user is searching all the files with star.html. Okay, and then what he's doing is he's grepping index/html and any contents after that, right? So let me just execute this and show you. Just searching all from the root, which has got an index.html. Okay, and then you're specifically grepping for anything that ends with like index.html. You're searching all HTML in the root, and then you're grepping for specifically which has got index.html. Okay, that's what you're doing. Okay, so now I'll just do the sudo su. Run this command once again, so that you can avoid that permission denied. Okay, so now you're grepping, you're fetching everything that has got. Okay, now let me just remove this portion. I'll just do it. So it'll fetch everything that has got HTML, that has an extension as HTML. But within these, there are a few files which has got index.html in it. Like for example, this Python kitchen 1.1 has got an index.html in it, correct? So now you're only filtering only those through this command, where you're printing only those which satisfies this grep, and you're grepping only for index.html within the output of this. Okay, that's what you're doing out here. Okay. So this guy is actually doing that, and he's also doing contents.html. Okay. So now this code could take a long time to run, and we are doing it twice. In this case, you're doing it twice, correct? But here, what you can do is, the efficient way of running this is, you're using a backtick to use the find /name star.html -print. Okay. But what you're doing is you're basically doing it as, okay, let's do it like this. Let's put it in a shell script. Actually, I'll go there only. I'll go to pwds. Okay. Vi external program 2.sh. Yeah. See, my external program 2.sh is basically fetching all the files which has got index.html and contents.html. That way you'll be able to search in a better way, right? And then, so what you're doing here is you're using backtick to run this command. So what this command does is it actually finds all the files from the root with name star.html, and then it prints it. Okay. So then what you're doing is you're simply echoing $HTML files with a pipe symbol which satisfies the grep condition. You're grepping within this $HTML files, which ends with $/index.html. And then again, you're repeating the same, which ends with content.html. Okay, you can keep doing this for multiple types of greps. Okay, then finally, what you see is you're seeing the results that consolidated results of index and contents.html. So this way, you can use external programs in a lot more innovative ways. It can be for anything for that matter, right? It can be for, let's do it for sh. Let's do it for star.sh, and then let's reference it for a few programs that we have created. No, I'll do star.sh, and then I'll use it for a few shell programs that we created, like okay, I'll give a few things. While 2.sh, and then I'll say for loop.sh, right? While 2 and for loop / while 2.sh $. So whichever has got those for loop dot sh. Okay, I'll run this. See, it queried all the shell scripts which are there in the computer, and then it specifically gripped for while 2 and for loop, and then it fetched those values. Okay, so it will be quite useful.
What is the use of dollar at the end?
Okay, so regular expression. So okay, it's basically a regular expression. Okay, so in dollar is basically, so when you're gripping, right? So you have to pass a regular expression to that. So this is basically the expression that you are using to grep within this HTML files. Okay, so now what dollar towards the end of regular expression gives us? I just open the regular expression cheat sheet. Going for a regular expression cheat sheet, search for dollar. Okay, so now if you see, there are several anchors in the regular expression. Okay, so now when you say caret symbol, it means that is the start of the string. When you give dollar, it means that you are looking for the end of the string in that. Okay, so any string that ends with, let me run the external program .sh. Okay, so now, okay, so now within that external program, let me just open that external program, and then let me show you just executing this, right? I mean, I'll just say this one. Okay, I'm just simply running this. Okay, so now these are all several lines, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe there are hundreds of lines that have been printed here, correct? So when you say dollar, what I'm referring to is, in this case, I'm just doing a for loop and something else, correct? So I'm just saying it should end with that. The line should end with that. After that, don't look for that. So what the regular expression does here is, it grabs for loop.sh and ends the line with that. So that way, wherever it finds for loop or index.html and the line ends with that, it filters all those lines. Okay, so basically dollar means your line is ending with that. So that's what it means.
Thank you, sir.
So your line ends with that. After that, don't look for it. But otherwise, what will happen is, if say there is something more after that line, right? It will still consider those lines. So you want to basically say that your line ends with that. Okay, and if you say /a, it is the beginning of the string. /z, very end of that string. Okay, so read through the regular expressions, okay, and we'll do some examples with regular expressions. It will be quite handy. But remember, regular expressions will have some overhead because it does a string processing. It will have some overhead with respect to CPU. It will consume more CPU cycles. So performance will be a hit when you use regular expressions, but that's okay. You can use regular expression as you want it. Okay, you used backticks. Instead of using backtick, you can also put a dollar parenthesis as well instead of backtick to execute a command. In this case, I executed a command using a backtick, right? You don't need backtick also. You can just do a dollar parenthesis. Yeah, the advantage of this is it can be nested, which the backticks, in backtick you cannot do a nesting of commands, okay? But you can just do it in whatever way you want. Okay, last one, let's quickly look at functions, right? So similar, like how you, people who have done like Java or .NET or any other programming languages, you must be knowing what a function is, correct? What is a function? A function is basically a standalone piece of code which you can reference it from your main code's execution sequence, right? So similar way here also, in JavaScript also you've got functions. So you create a function, you pass some argument to the function will execute and give it. So you can call the function by passing arguments to the function. So here also functions are possible in shell scripts. Okay. One often overlooked feature of Bone is that you can easily write functions for use within your script. This is generally done in one of the two ways. With a simple script, the function is simply declared in the same file as it is called. However, when writing a suite of scripts, it's often easy to write a library. You can write a common library of shell functions. You can put it in one shell script, and you can reference that shell script within another shell script. You can import that shell script. We used to do that, right? Import or include. Okay, include or import is a common thing, where you reference other libraries from your function or from your program. Okay, so now let's look at the function. Okay, so now here, this is a function. You're writing a generic function which says add a user. So where user is $1, password is $2, shift. Okay, and then comments is $, then you're just printing some echo, adding a $user, echo user add -c $command. See, again, user add is again a you can add a user in Linux, right? So you're using user add. It's basically, let me show you. User add is a command in Linux. Okay, you can add a user, like how you go to Windows and you can add a user in Windows, right? Like similarly, you can add a user in Linux. But here, I mean, you're just echoing that. Okay, that's okay. Don't worry too much. User password, echo added a user with password. So this is basically a small function that it uses to add a new user to the Linux. You're adding more, creating more users and adding those users. Okay, then the main body of the script is actually here. So whatever you create here, you create a function with a function name, and then give parenthesis there, which means that it's a function. So then use curly braces, and whatever you run within the curly braces will get executed as part of the function execution. But the main body starts here. Okay, echo start a script. Then you are referencing this function. When you say add a user, it will first look for a function called add a user here. So then you're adding parameters to that. We saw that, right? Bob let me in. Bob Holmes the presenter. Okay, so you're basically taking two variables here, two arguments here, two parameters. Bob is the username, password is let me in. After that, whatever you type is just comments. So ignore all of that. These are all comments. So comments is at the rate, sorry, dollar at the rate, which means all the comments that you, all the arguments that you pass will actually go as part of this comments. But you're storing user as Bob, password as let me in. Again, user is Fred, password is bad password. User is Bilko, password is worst password. Okay, but the idea here is you're just using a function to do something. Okay, so let me just take this. Okay, in fact, let's not use this. Let's create our own function. AI function one.sh. I'll just copy paste this. So lazy with typing these days. Okay, so I'm just creating okay, add a user. So I don't want to use any of this, right? I'll just do something else. Okay, this I don't want to say add a user also. I'll just create my own function. Something. I'm just creating a print my value is the function. That's the function that I'm saying. So then what I'm doing is I'm just taking value 1 equal to $1. $1 is the first parameter that you pass. Value 2 is $2. Other params is $@. Okay. So now let me say echo $1, echo $2, echo dollar other params. Okay, I'm just simply doing that. Okay, here I'll just say first arg is this. second argument is this. Then this is the rest of the arguments. Rest goes here. I'm just doing that. Okay. After that, in the main program, I'll say main program starts here. You can also put the this thing functions below. It's not a problem. Starts here, and then you can say print my value. Hello world. How are you? That's the thing that I'm just printing. So here, what is $1? $1 is this. $2 is this. I'm not processing $3 and all. So rest of everything goes here. Okay. So the whole thing will get printed in $other params. So it'll what is this function expected to do? It is expected to take all of this. Okay, the value 1 is this. Sorry. Yeah, you can also. Okay, so here actually what I'm doing is I'm doing a wrong here. So I've stored the $1 here. So I'll just use value 1, value 2, okay, and other params here. Okay, so the first argument will be sent to value 1. The second argument will be sent to value 2. Rest of it will go into other params. I'm just printing those out here. Okay, let me see what happens. Such. Say function 1.sh. Value 1 command not found. Okay, let's troubleshoot. Okay, sorry, I made some syntax errors here. Yeah, I think that's a problem. Okay, sure, just do it. Yeah, okay, so the first argument is hello, second argument is world, third argument is, I mean, all rest of it goes here. So I can do that any number of times, right? I mean, here I can invoke my function any number of times anywhere. Okay, but I'm not directly, you know, I've created a function here. I'm invoking that function within my main program. Okay, so this way functions can be quite useful, and you can use functions in multiple ways. And in fact, you will use functions when you write programs. Okay, when you write Python or when you write shell scripting or Java, you will use functions. There's no escape route without using functions. Okay, you can't put everything in one single code block. Okay, and okay, and also if you see here, you know, so what he's trying to say here is scope of variables. Programmers used to other languages may be surprised at the scope rules of shell functions. Basically, there's no scoping other than the parameters $1, $2, $etc. Taking the following snippet, see you have X here, okay, and X is also used here. Okay, so here what you're doing is script was called with this thing, and then you're doing my function 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so here what it takes is it just takes it, it basically prints everything here, and then it sets X as 2. Okay, so then when it sets X as 2 here, when you print here, it will show that X is 2. Okay, because don't think that, you know, this X only belongs to this function. Okay, you're actually setting the entire shell scripts variable of x to 2 using this function. But this is not the case with other programming languages. People who are aware of Java and all will know that. Okay. Yeah, see, if you see here x is 2, x is actually printed as 2. Okay, so you can go through those, you can do these exercises a little more. Okay, and there are few more things with things that you can do with functions, right? Recursive functions, right? You can factorial. How many of you know what a factorial is? Okay, x factorial of y, it's basically a mathematical function. Okay, so here what they've written is they've just written a small factorial program, factorial function. Okay, where it is trying to find the factorial of two numbers. Okay, so yeah, then you're basically reading a number from the end user, and then you're finding the factorial of that number. In fact, let's take this and execute it. It will be quite interesting. Vi factorial dot sh, paste it. WQ, okay, chmod 777 factorial dot sh dot slash factorial dot sh. Enter a number. I'll just say 8. What is 8 factorial? 8 factorial is 40320. 9 factorial is 362. 2 factorial is 2. 4 factorial is 24. 6 factorial is 720. 878 factorial, it will take a longer. It's a exponential function, right? So it will take longer to compute it, but I'll kill it. I don't know when it will give. $12 factorial is this much. 14 factorial is this much. 20 factorial, oh man, look at that. 25 factorial is, it will take time. 30, 40 factorial, oh, 100 factorial will take some time. See, 200 factorial will take lot of time. 300 factorial will take some more time. 600 factorial. Okay, let me just quit it. Okay, so it's quite simple. Okay, just go through that. Okay, libraries, right? You can actually create some libraries using shell script. Okay, but you have to just name it as .lib, and then you can keep creating functions within that. Okay, and then you can basically reference this library from within your shell script. Okay, so if you see here, you're referencing that library using this dot. Okay, and then you're saying echo standard message. Okay, standard message is this. Okay, and then you're doing some rename. You're doing some rename function from here. Okay, so libraries are nothing but it's like a library, right? So where you catalog multiple functions within one library and then use it reusably across all your functions. Again, return codes, we saw about return codes earlier. We saw this, right? So if it is not equal to 0, it means that setting password has failed. If it is not equal to 0, you're adding a user and you're doing this and user add failed. Okay, so wherever you take the last $question mark, evaluate it for 0. If it is not equal to 0, then it failed. Then you're returning something. You're returning 1. You're returning 2 here. Okay, so then what you're doing is that function would return something. Okay, so then whatever that function returns, right? that will be the code which got returned actually. Okay, so now that will be the code which got returned, which is the latest one, correct? You're returning it, and that will be the dollar question mark which is coming from that. See, in this case, when the execution failed, I just showed you um, what is the exit functions, right? So all of these are like the exit codes written by the actual command, but you can override that. You can return your own friendly numbers. It can be your friendly values, 1 or 2. Okay, so then you take that one, store it in a variable, and then you evaluate that to 1. If it is 1, then you're saying that you're giving some friendly message to the end user saying that something went wrong with user add. You're not actually exposing the actual error message that came from the function. Okay, you're insulating that, you're overriding that, and you're giving a very friendly error message, because people who are using it may not really know that. Say if a page crashes, the page must be crashed, might have crashed because of a number of reasons, right? You don't want to expose that actual technical reason to the end user. So you're just you're returning some internal return codes. You're using that return codes to evaluate that and say that, okay, something went wrong with user add, something went wrong with the password. Okay, so it will be quite helpful. But at the end of the day, you can just return any number here. You can even return 100, 200. But what the actual command returns will be within this range. Okay, if it is 0, it means that anything other than 0 is undesirable. You don't have to say that your command not found 127, right? You don't have to say that to the end user. You can say to the end user that something went wrong with the operation, so please try again later. So this will be quite useful at that point in time. You can try that. Okay, and yeah, so this is basically a cheat sheet, quick reference. Okay, you can some of the grep functions that somebody asked, right? See this grep foo dollar means end of the line. Okay, so this will be quite helpful. So you can just go through this cheat sheet. Okay, so then yeah, there's something called interactive shell also here. Okay, see, you can add you can install other shells as well. Okay, in fact, I have installed some other shell, some interactive shell in my Mac. Mac has got a terminal, right? I've just installed some other. Let's say cd pwd. It's my user actually. Okay, so I can just go cd/users. It gives me a quite interactive thing. It tells me what folder that I'm in. Okay, so you can do all of those cool things later, but first get the concepts right, and you can get quite comfortable with the concepts, and then you can perform all of these exercises. Okay, there are some more exercises that are given here, so just perform these exercises. Okay, so I think that kind of brings us to the end of shell scripting. Okay, so practice this, right? And now let's we are like delayed by about 20-30 minutes, so let's understand what you have done. So did you guys take a shot at creating innovative programs yesterday? Who wants to start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
so let's start. Whoever said yes sir first, please start.
Okay,
Somebody
sir.
said yes first. Yeah, who's that?
Prasanna, sir.
Yeah, A32, correct? Yeah, sure, please
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead.
Yes.
You want to share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, share your screen, show me your program.
Please give me a second, sir.
Sure.
Welcome to the holy places in India. I have listed here 10 most visited places, sir. select which place you want to visit. Suppose if I enter Puttaparthi,
Mhm.
it shows like this. It welcome to Puttaparthi, and it shows some visiting spots in Puttaparthi, like Prashanti Nilayam, Chaitanya Jyoti Museum, of likewise. And if we are looking for accommodation, want to book for accommodation today, yes, it shows some list of hotels in Puttaparthi, sir. Select hotel which you
Mhm.
want to go. I can select any one of these. Suppose if I enter
Mhm.
4, enter how many people will stay in hotel. 4.
Mhm.
I can give any number. And enter how many days will you stay in hotel. Around 10 days on a stay.
Mhm.
Enter hotel charge per day, 500
Mhm.
per day. If I give any number,
Mhm.
I can give.
Mhm.
And amount you need to pay is 5,000 rupees.
Mhm.
That's it, sir.
Wow, excellent. Excellent. Can you show me the code? This is
Yes,
awesome.
sir. Think, I can
So
use
where are you
cases
running that?
also, sir,
You're
but
running it in Putty. Yeah. So
yes,
where are
sir,
you running
Putty,
this?
sir. From Putty,
But
sir.
where is the Linux? Which
AWS.
Linux you're connecting? Okay, you have provisioned an EC2 instance.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, good, very nice. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
show me the code. Show me the code once. So uh, what all you have used in the code? Just explain that to everybody. Can you walk through the code to everybody?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I can use cases also, sir, but
sure.
but
Yeah, do a quick.
simply
So do
with
a quick
if one
walkthrough of the
else,
code. Sorry, I didn't get your
simply,
name.
sir. Prasanna, sir.
You're also present. Okay, all right. So yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
can just walk through the code to everybody, Prasanna.
Okay, sir.
Just walk through step by step.
Simply
Mhm.
with
So what all
with
things that you have
echo
used here?
commands.
Yeah, you have done eco commands. Okay,
Yes, with
great.
this command
Then
we can
okay, so
next
then you're using
if
a
and
read.
if else
No, but before that you're using read. Okay, to accept
read.
input
Yes,
from the
sir.
end user.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're storing it in a
So it will, and
variable.
here string match, sir, here.
No, but you're storing it in a variable. So tell. I
Yes,
mean, you
sir.
explain it the way people should understand, right? What all things you have used, and you're storing it in variable. So you're using variables.
Variable, and
Okay,
I'll
you're
match
using input.
my input from this variable to this variable, and
Okay,
then
and
I
then
I
you're
can go
using
to here.
wait. Then you're using if else conditions.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So then
Mm, Then simply again it shows some list of places,
hmm,
hotels,
okay. Okay.
and uh, and here I'll read input from the user, how
Okay.
many
Perfect.
people
Right.
and all that,
Then you're doing
and
some
he will multiplication operations,
multiplication operation you're performing. Okay.
and
Nice.
that will be print here, dollar price
Okay.
in that place.
Okay.
That
Okay.
amount will be print here. That's it,
Printed.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So now, how do you think you can improve this program? What
Yeah, with
what all things you can
cases I
improvise in this?
can improve it, sir, with cases.
Mhm. Okay.
And
Specifically in what sort of cases? How can you do it? You want to put case instead of if
suppose
else, correct?
if yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
If I
very good,
enter
very
one,
good.
I'll go to some place like that.
Okay, very good. What else can you do? Can you also run some commands and use the commands here? Can you think through any of those? Okay, so
Command.
just think through. You can come back to
Okay,
me
sir.
tomorrow on how you can do
Okay,
that.
sir.
Okay, good,
Okay, sir.
very
Okay.
nice, excellent. Okay, naming
Thank
convention,
you,
you have
sir.
to ensure that you give a proper name to the shell script. You've just given some random name, GHGGG and all that.
Yes, sir.
You have to
Yes.
give a
Okay,
proper
sir.
name to the shell script.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thanks. Okay, who else wants to go next?
Hello, sir. I'm Z023.
Yeah, hi.
I am
So
Pawan,
please share your
and I'll
screen.
share my
Yeah,
screen.
hi Pavan. Okay, so you're running Oracle
So
VMware
now,
VirtualBox. Okay.
so right now the famous topic is COVID. Therefore, I have prepared a program on COVID precautions. So here it will provide me the details based on my age. So I grouped the age categories into 4 types. For example, now it is asking my age. My age is 22.
Mm-hmm.
So it run and it will show the text of a file. So here it is showing the details what I need to take according to my age. So if I am satisfied, if yes, it says thank you for the response. If no, then it will open the website.
Okay. Show me the code.
1 minute, sir. The website open.
Okay, it goes to the browser. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, nice. You're invoking a external browser for that.
Strong. So now I'll show the code, sir.
Mm-hmm. So are you getting too many
So this is the
arguments in the
code.
initial? Yeah, sure. Yeah, can you walk through the code?
Yes, sir. So here I use 2 test cases.
Yes.
One is x is greater than 4 and x is less than 21 from 4 to 20 age group, and next 20 to 40, and next 39 to 61, and next 60 to 101.
Mm-hmm.
So after running, for example, if my age is in between 4 to 21, it will open the file child.txt and it will run all the contents. And that means it will show all the precautions.
Right.
Next, similarly to the next, like young, adult, and old age.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Very nice.
Next, if I
And
am
you're
not
you're
satisfied,
basically you're reading it from a text file, correct? So you're
yes,
using a
sir.
less than operator. Okay. Nice. If not, you're basically opening it in an external program, right? XDG
Yes, sir.
open is what is that? It's an external program, correct?
Yes, sir. It will open the website, external website.
Website. Okay. 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 All right. What if I don't have browser? What can you do there?
Well, if I don't have browser,
Like,
I can input a HTML file or a text file.
okay. Or you can do curl.
Okay, sir.
Curl. You just learn about what curl is. Curl is something where you can actually run an endpoint, a HTML endpoint, or a website on curl. It'll just do a HTTP on the. Just say curl google.com.
We can also add
CURL.
more, sir. If
Yeah.
you can also add more to this. So
So
for
Pawan,
example,
just do
if
a curl.
yes, sir.
Sorry, Pawan, just do a curl CURL. No. Not inside, outside on the
Okay, sir.
shell command prompt. CURL space CURL space google.com. See,
Yeah, it's showing.
yeah, it'll give you the Google HTML back.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
try this.
Yeah. So this is how you can do that. Okay. All right. Very nice. So try and see if how you can improvise this. You're using some while loops also, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Thanks, Pawan. Very nice.
Sir, we can
Who wants to go
also
next? Mm-hmm.
we can also add some more, sir. For example, if are you feeling anything like any symptoms like a cough or anything for that, we can also provide some medication and also some healthcare center.
Okay. Yes. Very nice. Okay. So apply all these concepts. Okay. Whatever you learned in the last 4 or 5 days, just apply all of that in the context
Yes,
of, because these are fundamentals. Okay. You have to learn the fundamentals and apply all of those. Okay. Who wants to go next? Just slightly over time. Who wants to show your examples? Okay, so there are about 85 people. So only two out of 85 is not a good figure, guys. Come on.
Sir, hello sir,
Yeah.
this is 24.
Yeah. Hi.
I have done a small program related to palindrome. I'll show that.
Sure. Please share your screen and show it.
Okay.
You have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sorry sir, I forgot to unmute and I'm explaining.
No problem.
First, I have displayed the text minus num, enter number using the echo. It will, whatever the number you give, it will take that number. And after that, I have read this number using the read function. Then I have set the remainder to 0. And initially, I have taken the reverse as blank. I have stored this original number into the temp variable. After that, I have using the while loop, I'm comparing the number, the original number which I have given in the beginning, is greater to 0 or not. Then I am doing that number percentile by 10. From this, I am picking remainder of that number. Then I am dividing that number with 10. From this, I am picking the quotient value. Using this echo, I am concatenating this previous reversed value and the current remainder value. Then if my temporary number temp is equal to this, then it will go to this echo and display. If the number is palindrome, it will display as number is palindrome. If else, it will say that number is not palindrome.
Okay, excellent. So you have made use of read input from the end user.
Yes, sir.
While loop and if else condition.
Yes,
okay,
this
nice.
is my output, sir.
Very nice. And numeric, and numeric operations.
Yes.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, one more last. So all three of them. Sorry, A24. I didn't get your name. A24.
Neelima, sir.
Neelima. So Prasanna, Pavan, and Neelima.
Hello, sir.
Stands the first three places. Yeah. Sure. Please go ahead.
Myself, Z052.
Z052. Okay.
Vishweshwar Sharma.
Vishweshwar Sharma. Okay.
I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yes.
Basically, I have taken a question from HackerRank platform. This is the question.
Yep.
What the problem statement is, we are observing the birds migrating across the continents and documenting those types. So there are basically here, based on the input constraints, only 5 types of birds are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each representing different type of birds. Whenever we find a bird, we are documenting it into an array. what we have to do is, what is the most commonly seen word that we have to print as the output.
Okay.
This is my code.
Okay. So the commonly seen bird is the output. Okay. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
If there are more than one commonly seen word, then word having minimum ID among those should be printed.
Okay.
That's what the problem statement says, and here is the code. First, I am taking the number of observations from the radar, and then declaring two arrays, one for to note the observations, and second is to calculate the number of observations for each bird. Then getting the observations from the user using the for loop, and storing it into the array. There
Okay, so
itself,
you're
I am just
making use of arrays. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. There itself, I am just counting the number of observations of each bird and incrementing that particular index in the second array.
Okay.
So after this first for loop, I have the observations of different birds and the count of number of observations of each bird. Now what I have to do is I have to find the maximum number of observations of a bird, and then I have to give the output of that particular index.
Yep. Okay.
So max is to count the number of maximum number of birds, and out is to store the index. I am running another for loop on the second array. Yeah, I am just getting the value, and then if it is greater than max, then changing the max and changing the index of the output. So finally, I am printing out plus 1 because index start from 0 instead of 1, but bird IDs are starting from 1. Yeah, this is my program. Wait, I will run it and show. Yeah, for instance, number of observations are 6. And let those observations be 1, 4, 4, 5, 5, and 3. So the output is 4 because 4 and 5 each observed twice. Out of those both, 4 is the least ID. So output is 4.
Okay. Very nice.
The same can be done using while loop also instead of for.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. This looks quite cool. So what is your learning, Vishweshwar, from this?
Yeah, I learned how to use arrays and how to run for loops.
Have you used arrays in the past?
Yeah, I have a coding background. I am from CSC, so I know how to use arrays. But yeah, I learned how to use arrays in shell script yesterday itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where you have used arrays in C++ or Java?
Yeah, I am good with both C++, Java as well as Python.
Oh, great. Nice. Okay, cool. This is good.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Vishweshwar. So, okay, all right. So, anyone else? Probably one last, and then before we wrap it up.
Hello.
It will make the count as 5. Yeah.
Sir, I'm Z061.
Yeah. Hi.
So let me
What's
share
your
my
good
screen.
name?
Sai Kiran, sir.
Sai Kiran. Okay.
So here I am doing this program, sir. Even odd number. If I enter a number, it gives output as which is an even number or odd number. So I'm going to run this program. So now I am entering number 2. So it is an even number. So the output will be, so the 2 is an even number. Suppose I'm entering an odd number. So kind of 5. So it gives 5 is an odd number. So coming to code. Yes, sir. So here is the code, sir. First, I am printing echo statement. It is an enter number. So there is an enter number. So after read in, so it allows to entering number. So coming to the condition here, check the condition where if I'm giving an input as a 2, it can modulus by 2. So the it modulus the number by 2. So coming to the if condition, whatever the result coming here on remainder, so which is equal to 0, then it comes to echo statement. The given number is an even number. Else it goes to odd number.
Okay.
So and also
so you're
I'm
basically using
writing
3 things here. You're
yes,
using read input user input. You're using a mathematical function, and you're using if else. Okay, good.
Yes, sir. Yeah, coming. I am also Fibonacci series.
Fibonacci. Okay.
So I want to Fibonacci series up to 10 numbers. So I am giving here input as a 10. So up to 10 numbers I got an output.
Okay.
So coming to code.
So you don't have to type, just press tab. It'll complete it, auto-completed usually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm here initializing values for A, B, C here. First A equal to 0 and B equal to 1. C equal to 0. So I'm count also 0. First I'm going to echo the enter number. So I need 10 numbers in series. So it's going to read that whatever I'm giving input. So while condition here count is less than n until the while loop is running. If after 10th term, it will be terminating the program. So here coming to do C equal to A plus B. So the first two numbers 0 plus 1 both are adding, and I want to print the output. So here there is an output 1, 0 plus 1. So coming to next step, here the values are exchanged between them. A equal to B. So here value I initialize B for 1, B equal to C. We can get an output as 1. So it becomes to B value. So then after count, it's going to count. So firstly here print a 1 value. So it is increment up to whatever the number I will give. 10 times it will repeat the count. So done. That's it. Program.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Here I am using while.
Okay.
And also
very
do
nice.
some triangles.
Yeah.
Triangle shape.
Review those. We'll review those later. I think we are kind of falling short of time. Okay, so
sir, thank you.
But these are good attempts by all of you. I'm sure a lot of you would have also done, but let's kind of come back and review those later, right? Or you can actually post it in. So mentors, do they have some sort of a common folder where they are posting their assignments, where we can look at it later offline?
Yes, sir. Yes. They are having a folder to each student in our drive so that they can post their assignments there.
Okay. Nice. Okay, fine. Maybe if possible, if I can just have access to that, I'll go through that offline.
Sure,
Come
sure.
back
I'll
with
provide.
more
I'll
questions
provide.
sometime later tomorrow. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay. All right. So I think this is good. So I want. So out of these five, right? Prasanna, Pavan, Nilima, Vishweshwar, and Saikiran. All five of you, are you from CS background, or is there anyone who's from a non-CS background?
I am a mechanical
I'm
Yes,
sir.
sir.
from
Z023.
I am from
A24
Sorry,
CSE
sorry.
from
One,
background.
EC.
one by one, one by one, one by one. Prasanna, are you from CS background? Prasanna, are you from CS background?
Yes, sir. I am from CSC background.
Pavan?
I am from mechanical background, sir.
Okay. Nilima?
I'm from EC background, sir.
ECE. Okay. Vishweshwar?
Yeah, I am from CS background.
CS. Saikiran?
Yes, sir. I am also from CSE background.
CS background. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice. I'm happy that folks from CS background are able to make use of what you learned in your CS, but folks from non-CS background have also taken an attempt of it, but it's very good. Nice. So I want all the others as well, especially folks who are from non-CSE background, to take an attempt, okay, to come forward. Okay, next time I want to basically see people from non-CSE background to come and first show. First three of you should be the ones from non-CSE background. Okay, so please do that. If you have any challenges, please reach out to mentors, right? Don't withhold yourself, right? If you're stuck. So the only way to learn things is come out, okay, be proactive, come out, and please reach out. And people are there to help. I mean, your CS background friends are also there, right? You can actually reach out to them for any additional help that you require. But yeah, it's a joint group learning, okay? It's not an individual learning. So I mean, every day you're learning at the end of the day, correct? So I'm also learning a lot along with you. So that way, see what we have done is right now we have only scratched the surface, okay? So we have a lot more to come. We have a lot more dive deep to come, right? Especially when we start AWS from next week onwards, you will see that it'll be quite interesting, okay? And you'll see that you're actually doing something which is great and which gives you a lot of self satisfaction, okay? So let's be a lot more proactive. If you're stuck and if you're like need some help, don't hesitate to come back and ask for help. Okay, all right. So then let's do one thing. I think the shell scripting is done. Okay, so you guys can you are now ignited. Okay, so just go forward. So don't wait for anything. So just go forward and start learning more. Be more inquisitive. Learn and be curious is one key thing that all of us should remember. So be curious about things and start learning now. Start take this knowledge to the next level, okay? And then we will start. I'll give you an introduction to Python, okay? Again, given that a lot of you are aware of Python, right? And again, some of you may not be introduced to Python as it, but yeah, I'll give you a introduction to Python, and I'll give you kind of a decent introduction to Python, so that you can get started with that. And then what we can do is we'll get started with probably AWS by say end of next week itself. Maybe mid to maybe by next Thursday or Friday we'll get started with AWS. After we do a little bit of Python, because Python could be needed, because you will end up writing some Python scripts, Python programs. Like Lambda is there, right? Lambda is an AWS serverless component. It's a function as a service, right? So you can use Python to write Lambda functions. Python is very easy to learn, unlike your C, C++, right? Or Python is quite easy to learn, and it's very famous as well. So popularly used. So we'll start with Python from Monday onwards. Okay. But today what you can do is you can go to your breakout rooms and do you can follow the link that I gave. the shell script.sh, okay, and start from 9 onwards. In fact, start from 8, start from the test. So complete 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So complete these 5 modules today. Okay, you can just do the assignment of these 5 modules. Okay, all right. So thanks, so Sai Krishna. So over to you. So maybe the breakout rooms can be opened and students can go there.
Sure, Shailona, if you're still online, could you please open the breakout rooms?
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna.
And Prasanna, where did you post that link for the assignment?
It is there in yesterday's itself. Yesterday, the document that I shared, that the end of it, the link is there actually. Shellscript.sh.
Okay, sure. Sure, Anna, sounds good. We'll look into it.
Okay. Okay, all right. Thanks all. So we'll get started from Monday on Python. Okay, and in the meantime, please send me that assignments folder, access to the assignments folder. I'll go through, especially people who are from non-CS background, please complete your assignments or like what these 5 folks and few others have done. So please attempt something like that and post it. Maybe I'll take an offline look at it.
Sure. Thanks, Anna.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks all. Sai Ram.
Yeah.
All the best. Bye.
So I request all the mentors to please check each student if they have done the assignment, this assignment, and then posted in their respective folders.